Alright, so I wanted to make a quick little video before I got this thing too dirty. This is the Rlaarlo / Croboll MK07. This is the brushless version. Gonna go out and have a little fun with it later on today. Just wanted to go over a quick overview, what I saw, what I liked, what I didn't like. Overall, it looks to be very solid. We'll see how it actually performs. When mine arrived, the ESC had come loose from shipping. Not really sure if it just wasn't secured properly or if shipping was really beat up. These have got a ton of features compared to the SCX6. SCX6, all it's got is high speed and low speed, and that's pretty much it. This has got a sensored brushless setup. It's got a 2-speed transmission. It's got a selectable drive. It's got selectable front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or 4-wheel drive. It does not have a neutral. It's got selectable front and rear locking diffs. It does have a smaller servo up front. It is 7 scale. It's not nearly as big or as heavy as the SCX6. It's got an absolute ton of scale realism. Obviously, it's supposed to look like a Jeep, but it's not officially licensed. It's got a bunch of different lighting modes. Comes with an 8-channel receiver and an 8-channel transmitter out of the box to enable all of those things. It's got 1 channel free with all the features on there. All right, so remote is pretty basic. Looks like it's a Dumbo RC clone. We do have turn signals and a sequential turn signal up front. We do have brake lights and reverse lights. And then we've got a light bar in the grille and a light bar on the roof. If I can remember, there we go. We've got low beams, high beams, fog lights, and then the light bars. And then there's a whole bunch of different modes for light bars. There's a unicorn party, police, got flashing, and then sweeping, different colors, and then back to off. So pretty neat. Takes a little while to get used to all the different buttons on the remote because there is a lot going on. Put this over here. Locking diffs all work, and then that's high speed, that's low speed. Not a huge difference in speed on that, but it's definitely enough on the trail. Only things I think immediately I see that could be improved is the body just hangs back here when you tilt it up. Eventually it's probably going to lead to stress cracks and some breakages. I've seen 2 solutions for that already. I've seen one person just tied little strings to the frame rails and then up to the body just to kind of catch the body right before it hits that stop point. And I've seen somebody also do a prop rod so it ends up staying, you know, like this. I think the strings are probably a better, strings or cables are a better solution. And then the only other thing I didn't like so far, I guess I should say, is Rlaarlo seems to not be able to design a functional battery tray to save their lives. This truck can run 4S, and so I have, I would say, a not overly large 4S battery. Does not fit in the tray lying down, which you'd want it lying down for center of gravity. It does fit on its side, and again, it's not a super tall battery. I'd say it's the same size You know, it's barely any taller than a 3S here. But when it's on its side, it hits the underside of the body and you can't close the body. So what I'm going to try first is probably just knock off the two sides of the battery tray so that the battery can sit off to the side, and see if I can have the battery flat, and if that solves the issue. I guess I can probably test that right now. If that fits, then, and it does. It'll be close, but I think that should work. But anyway, enough talking. We're gonna get out and see how this does completely stock, and then I have got a ton of upgrades ready to go for this. So I'll have a video showing all the upgrades, and we'll definitely take it out again after I get the upgrades on. All right, so I got both vehicles back here cleaned up in the garage. Wanted to give some thoughts after running them a bit. Very happy with performance of the MK07, especially for my use case. Gonna be mainly trail, not really strict rock climbing, but just more of a trail truck. I think it does really well at that. Um, I definitely do have some upgrades lined up for it. I definitely think it can be improved upon, but out of the box for the money, especially compared to what the SCX6 cost, um, you get all of the scale details, all of the extra features, and a very similar power setup for almost half price, um, which is crazy. And then they do offer a brush version for even less. I actually do have a brushed version here. A couple things that just nitpicking on battery tray, as I mentioned before, which I already addressed by cutting off the one side there. If the truck can run a 4S, there's not really any excuse why you can't fit a standard size 4S in there. Especially if I'm using it as a trail truck, I want to be out there for a long time. I'm not trying to have to bring an extra battery. It would have been nice to see dual battery boxes like they did on the SCX6, where you've got two different mounting options, left and right. But not the end of the world. I had over an hour runtime on this. I'm sure I still got a lot of battery left. There's definitely room for a small soft pack battery here directly over the front axle. So that's really nice. They left that space there. It'd be nice to put a little tray there, for people to use, but I'm sure somebody will come up with that. And then I did test this 100% stock as it came out of the box, including this linkage here. Has like some type of servo saver or shock built in the steering link. And apparently they did not like that because they gave you a solid steering linkage in the box, and recommend to put it on, and I just didn't do it yet. So I will be doing that, along with some new wheels and tires, some brass, some other parts too. So we'll see what we can do. The SCX6 definitely did a little bit better in a couple spots. That's really expected. Tire size difference is huge. You got a 7-inch tire versus, I believe, about a 5.5-inch tire. And then this thing is a tank. It's very heavy. It is mostly stock. I do have brass diff covers and brass shock eyelets, and I think brass wheel hexes. Nothing major, but it weighs a lot more than the MK07. Between that and the tire diameter, it just gives it an advantage in some situations. Obviously, weight can be a penalty too in other situations, but not everything. It's a really sharp-looking truck. I think they really did a good job on it. I think it's priced very competitively for what you're getting. I'm a little confused. My brushless one came with this Dumbo RC. I believe it's actually a 10 channel when you count these two here. Because you got front diff lock, rear diff lock, drive mode, drive speed, and light control. And then this one is empty. I think that's number 8 is empty, and then that would be 9 and 10. But that came with my brushless. And this is the one that came with the brushed. This is a multi-model with a 2.4-inch color screen. And this came with the brushed model. And the brushless one has the regular remote. I don't know if they just didn't like this remote. It is kind of complicated. But way more features in it. I don't know. I might check with Rlaarlo and see why they did that, but I'll probably bind that one to the brushless and switch the remotes around. Only other thing I got to say on that note is I really wish they would have sealed the receiver box. On a car like this, you're expecting to see water and mud. Obviously, the goal isn't to submerge it, but the antenna hole on the top of the receiver box is open, and then it's completely open where all the wires go in, and it's quite a big opening because there's so many wires going in there for all the various functions and servos. So, it would be nice if they had some type of gasket on there to seal it, but I really like the layout. Everything seems to be pretty well thought out. Aside from the what I've pointed out. And you can see everything's pretty well protected on the bottom as well. But I think that's going to be it for now. Like I said, definitely a strong buy for me. If you're looking for a pure competitive crawler, probably going to take a lot to make this into that. But if you're looking for a general purpose crawler and trail, that's not a 10 scale, something bigger, but don't want to drop double the money for the SCX6. This is very good value for the money from me. And I'm really excited to see what it can do with some bigger tires and some upgrades. So stay tuned for that.